Hello designers, welcome back to the channel today. So in today's tutorial we are learning how to cut and sew this lace pencil skirt with 3-tier layers. This is a tutorial you want to wait around for, so please join me, sit back and relax as we jump into this tutorial. Now to begin with, because this is a pencil skirt, we are first going to learn how to draft a pencil skirt, a basic pencil skirt. So rule a line to serve as your starting point, and let's call that line our waistline, okay? Next, you need your waist to hip. I used 8.5 inches, waist to knee of 18 inches. Alright, it's like adding 9.5 inches from the hip line. I think I used 18 inches, yes. So 9.5 inches from the hip line. Next is the length of the skirt. All right, I want it at 40.5 inches. When all is said and done, this will drop down to her ankle. All right. Next, you rule out your lines, your hip line, your knee line, and then the skirt length, or the length of your slit skirt. Label the parts waist, hip, knee, and then the total length. You must know your waist measurement. Divide that into 4 and put it on the waistline. Add 1.5 inches, all right, and then add your sewing allowance. This person I was working for had a waist of 42 inches. All right, and so I used it accordingly. Now on the hip line, you mark your hip divided into 4, and then you add your sewing allowance. I always prefer to use a sewing allowance of 2.5 inches. It makes room to cater for contingencies. Okay, now on the knee line, you mark your hip measurement minus 1 inch, and then you add your sewing allowance. Now on the length, as in the full length, what you had on the knee line, you can deduct 1 inches from it. All right, and then you mark it on your total length line. All right, and then you add your sewing allowance. Once that is done, you connect. So I made some slight adjustment later onto the waistline. In the demonstration video, you saw the drawstrings, all right, but like I was explaining, I said you find her waist measurements, divide that into 4, and then you add your sewing allowance of 2.5 inches. Because I added enough room for allowance, I was able to adjust it accordingly so that it will make room for a drawstring. If you're going to add a drawstring, you need your waist measurement to have more inches added. All right, so you can choose to deduct 2 inches from your hip line and then put that instead on the waistline. All right, good. So let's continue. Now that we have drawn out the outline of our pencil skirt, we are now free to cut it out. This is basically a pencil skirt. So if you don't know how to cut a pencil skirt, this is how to cut it and achieve the best of results. Trust me. Now, because of the 3-tier layers at the bottom, we are going to need to separate this pencil skirt at the knee. All right, and so you're going to have it looking like this. And so what we are going to work on next is the second part, which is knee to ankle. All right, so that is what we have here. Here is the knee to ankle part of our skirt, and it's 22.5 inches. So we are going to work on some calculations here because we want to know at what length we are going to cut our tiers, all right, and our lining. And so the length, the ankle length is 22.5. So divide that into 3 because we want 3 layers. Now if you want it into 4, divide that into 4. All right, so into 3 we are going to get 7.5 inches. All right, now that 7.5 inches, you're going to deduct it from the length of the knee to ankle. Okay, and you're going to get 15 inches. You add 1 inch for your sewing allowance. Okay, now we are going to minus this 15 inches from this 22.5 inches. This will be the length we are supposed to cut our underlining at. All right, because you know we are supposed to arrange it on something, and because it's going to be a lace fabric, lining it will make it too heavy. All right, and so we are going to get something else in place of a lining. All right, so for now let's cut the length of our lining, which is that 16 inches. So this will be the length of our underlining. All right, and you'll see just what we are going to do with this later. 15 inches plus 1 inches sewing allowance. All right, half for the top, half for the bottom. Like I said, this net is what you're going to use for our underlining. All right, it's the net that you add under your dress for volume. All right, but the light one, because we are using this purposely because of its transparency. Okay, and so as you can see, I have used the net to cut the underlining. I've cut that for the back and that for the front. All right, adding a zip line to the back, and then for the top part of this dress, which is this side, I have also cut it. As you can see, I added ½ inch allowance to the bottom, and the top already has ½ inches allowance, so I left it at that. I've cut each with its lining. All right, and so the underlining will attach to the top part like this, and then an extra length will be added as it's here. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to open up your lining. All right, remember we added 1.5 inches that we cut both the front and back together at the same time, and so I added a dart for both the front and the back, but we don't need any dart for the front. All right, and so mark your waist to your hip measurement, include the ½ inches allowance at the top, and then we are going to cut out the dart from the front. Right, like this. I'm demonstrating it on this piece of paper for you to see. Connect it like this. The dart is on the waistline and not on the hip line, and so slant it in that way. All right, so as I did on the paper, I'm going to do it on the lining piece also. So once that is done, you cut out. You do the same thing for the lace piece also. So once that is done, you can go ahead and underline your lace. At this juncture, designers, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please be sure to hit on the subscribe button, and if you like this video, please be sure to give me a like. Thank you. Now here you can choose to hold it down with your pins, or you can choose to secure the top with a 1/4 inch. All right, Now our back pieces, open them up like this, left panel, right panel, arrange your lace pieces on top of it, and then you're going to secure the zip line with a 1/4 inch. Right, we are not turning it inside out, so secure it with a 1/4 inch to hold it down. All right, and you can choose to secure the top also with a 1/4 inch to hold it down. Next, you're going to join your zip line with the allowance we left, which was 1.5 inches. Put it on fold like this so that you can mark out your dart measurements. Because her waist is 42 inches, on the waistline I am marking 3.75. Usually, if the waist is smaller, you can use 3.5 inches, but because your waist is wider, I'm making it 3.75 inches. For most people, 3.5 works just fine. Now on the length of the dart is, I think I made it about 5.5 or 6 inches. So you're going to mark her nipple to nipple measurement on that part. The part I just marked, I used 5 inches. All right, and so for the top part, after marking your 1.5, you divide that into 2. All right, just as you saw me do, and then you use your pins to poke through so that you can replicate those measurements on the other side, on the opposite side. All right, just as you saw me do. All this is to say you mark your dimensions on both sides of the back piece, and then you're going to sew your dart like this. I am holding it with my pins to demonstrate. You're going to sew it in a slant way, all right, like this, just like this. I hope you can see. And you're going to sew the same thing on the opposite side also. Once you are done, it will look like this. Very nice. That is after ironing. All right. Now what you're going to do next is you're going to bring in our front piece, find the midpoint, ensure the midpoint aligns with the zip allowance of the back piece, and ensure that every side aligns. Hold it down with your pins as you see me doing. Hold it down on the waist, on the hip, and then on the knee with your pins, and then mark out your body measurement, as in shape out the skirt, all right, with the seam allowance you added. Okay, as you already know, I added 2.5 inches seam allowance. So after you sew your sides, you have your skirt, the top part of the skirt looking like this. Very nice. Remember, the front part of your skirt is supposed to sit easily on your waist, and so we are going to slant it with 0.75 inches, all right, at the center front, and then connecting it in a slant way to the side like this, just for the front part. Once that is done, we are going to be working on our tier layered part of the skirt. So you're going to do that by first working on our underlining. Take note of this measurement, the ankle measurement. Mine is 20.5 inches. We are going to need that as we work on our tiers. So first and foremost, What you're going to do is you're going to secure your underlining, the zip allowance, secure it down with your pins. So that it looks like you have stitched it. It's a bad idea to try to stitch on it, because once you stitch on it, you are going to have to remove the stitch later, and as you remove your stitches, chances of stretching your net and breaking it out is very possible. So forget about stitching and then secure it down instead with your pins, just as you see me doing. Once you are done, it will look like this. All right, and so we layer our front on it. Hold it down with your pins. What we are going to do is we are going to shape it out how you would shape out your fitted skirt from the knee to the ankle. That is how we are going to shape out this underlining piece, remembering that I told you on the knee of the skirt part it was 20.5, which is 41 inches. Okay, so we are going to replicate that on this underlining. So you mark your 40.5 divided into 2, mark it. What remains, you divide that into 2, and then you mark it. That will be your seam allowance, what remains of your seam allowance. All right, and you use the same method to work out the shape for your ankle. Once you are done, you connect. So you're going to stitch it here, stitch it there, and then you're going to cut out the excess. So this is what it will look like once all is said and done. Very nice. As you can see, it mimics a typical fitted skirt, ankle to knee. This is what it's supposed to look like. All right, good. So as you can see, on the midpoint I have sectioned it, and this was what I did. I folded it into 2 and ironed it. The middle of the tier will be on that middle part. So this is how it will look like. After attaching the skirt part to it, you attach your 2 tiers here, and then on the ankle part you're going to attach another tier. All right, that will give you the full length of your pencil skirt. Very, very simple, don't you think? So at this juncture, designers, please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please be sure to hit on the subscribe button. What are you waiting for? If you haven't given this video a like, please give this video a like. Share this video to someone who needs it. Thank you so much. So you open out your zip line like this, because we are going to be working on our tiers. I felt the seam allowance for the side was too big, and so I decided to cut it out, leaving 1 inch. You can choose to do the same thing also. So once that is said, you open it out. We are going to be attaching our layers, but we want to find the fullest part of our skirt, and it is 43 inches. So here are the pieces, the strips, the tiers. All right, the scallop part is what will be for the bottom naturally. Now designers, I want to add that even though when we were calculating for the tier it was supposed to be 7.5 inches, I was sure to make it 9 inches. All right, for contingency 6. It is 34 inches, so it is 68 inches. We need it to be 41, and so we have some room to make our pleats. All right, it's like this because I was using about 2.5 yards, okay, for the skirt. All right, so when you pleat it, you will layer it on top like this. and then it goes straight to the side. You hold it down with a stitch, a 1/2 inch stitch to secure it. Okay, for the middle layer, you're going to flip it like this. Flip it like this, not like this, like this. Okay, then you're going to sew it with 1/2 inches. You want to flip it so that once you flip it down, it will be on the right side. So you're flipping it this way, it's on the wrong side when you flip it this way. Okay, so that when you flip it back down, it will come down with the right side. All right, that's how it's supposed to be, like this. All right. And then for the third part, that is the part that will reach to the ankle, you're going to do it in the same way that you did the middle part of this tier, so that when it comes down with the right side, because they are all supposed to align on the right side. Right, very good. So this is basically it. Once it is done, it will look like this. Designers, if you follow this tutorial, your skirt is going to come out looking beautiful and really, really gorgeous. Okay, so now that we are done with the tier layers, we are going to attach it to our skirt part. And believe me, you're going to get the full length of the skirt you measured for. All right, so once you're done, it's going to look like this. You're going to fix your zip. You're going to open up the bottom with about 20 inches from this side to the ankle. All right, and then you're going to hem the top part and then fixing your drawstrings. Thank you so much for watching.